America. Yes. It's 4th of July weekend, everybody. Well, it is right now. When you guys listen to this, it's going to be well past 4th of July weekend, but you get the point. It's 4th of July weekend right now. I'm all America'd out. I don't know what the boys are doing.
We're in the military. It's in our blood.
Yeah.
It counts.
Yeah,
it's in our blood.
It just counts.
We bleed red, white, and blue.
So, before we start today, you guys mind if I tell a little story?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
All right. So I'm at the gym the other day, and this girl walks in. I was standing up at the front desk at the counter. This girl walks in. She kind of like, you could tell she's having like a little bit of trouble walking. Like maybe there was like a cognitive function kind of issue going on. And I was thinking like, oh, you know what? Good for her for like still getting out and going to the gym. So I said something to the guy who was working there, and he was like, oh, do you know who she is? And I was like, no. So he pulls up her Facebook. First he tells me she was a command fitness instructor for the Navy or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So like he's showing me all these pictures, and she was like super fit and like super active, like always doing outdoorsy stuff, rock climbing, boating, like anything you could imagine, like athletic activity, she was doing it. So I guess what happened was she was doing a rock climbing trip and she fell. And they told her she would never walk again.
Damn.
Dang.
So she overcame that. Like she, obviously walked into the gym and she goes in and she works out, to the best of her ability. But, just think about the amount of drive that has to take, like to get told you're never going to walk again. And then to not give up on that.
Yeah.
Like,
let alone
that's incredible.
go to the gym and just like live your life as normal as you can. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking a little bit about resiliency and what that means to us. So, Chris, why don't you go ahead?
That was a good story there to kick it off, Yosemite Sam. I'm proud of you.
Oh, dang. Sam. Yosemite also goes with the rock climbing. Damn.
There we go, dude. It worked perfectly.
That was great.
You guys didn't even know.
It's not that bad.
Resiliency, man. It's a word the Air Force beats to death. So we almost didn't want to talk about this. Like we wanted to talk about this, but use a different word. But there's no word that covers the term resiliency like the term resiliency. But if you're in the Air Force, just pretend you didn't have any training this year, which is impossible because you get it like 18 times a year. But resiliency is a powerful word. And it's important to have, it gets you through so much shit. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. And to me, that's what resiliency is. Being resilient. There's better times waiting. So you just keep striving forward. And we all have our own personal stories with that. Some a little fresher than others. Jared.
Very fresh.
Yeah, he'll have a good story. And I will also have a good story, but not as significant as his. So, who wants to kick it off?
Cool,
Jerry.
Silence.
Take it away.
I think Talon should do it. Talon, do it.
I'll just get it over with.
Oh, okay. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there I was.
Where were you? Wow, as if we weren't Air Force enough already. I hate ourselves.
It was January, and my girlfriend and I and some of her family were planning a trip to Florida. And we ended up buying tickets. We bought plane tickets, and we reserved a place in Florida. And it was all planned out in January. So then I think it was April rolls around. So, we started planning out like 90 days out. And then once we get within 10 days, I kid you not, it was on the 10-day marker. We're like, it's so close. We're like almost just a week away. I go into work and someone tells me, hey, you need to go home and go into quarantine because someone on your flight last week tested positive for COVID. So I'm just like, this is the worst case scenario right now. So like immediately, I go home and I'm just like freaking out, the gears are turning in my head. I'm like, what does this mean? Because I thought my vacation was over. So I abide by the rules of quarantine. I stay in quarantine and all that. And someone texts us and says, hey, you need to contact public health and like, you know, go through the whole thing with them. Tell them if you have any symptoms, and just basically check in with them so they know that you're one of the people. And I, out of fear that I would not be able to go on vacation, I elected to not contact public health. Maybe not the smartest thing I've ever done.
Definitely not the smartest thing you've ever done.
No. But man, I don't know. It was a tough decision. Obviously, like me making that choice to basically disobey an order and not contact public health, that was tough. So I was in a tough place personally, because I wanted to go on vacation, you know? I didn't want to stay home and stay in quarantine, and you know, I couldn't get refunded for this vacation, which we had already put down money on. So I go on vacation. Well, first of all, I think we're 3 days out from vacation at this point, and I'm like, okay, so I feel fine. Like, I'm still working out at home and doing yoga and stuff. I don't have any symptoms. I don't have a fever, like nothing like that. I feel great because I already had my leave put in and my leave approved, and I had an authorization number like 2 weeks before we were even supposed to leave. So that part was legal. Maybe public health could have worked with me. Who knows? But I won't know now, you know?
You made
so then
your choice.
I got back from Florida. Best vacation ever, by the way. So for what it's worth.
Worth it.
I got pretty tan. And
you lost your Ray-Bans though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just got a new pair of Ray-Bans. Like they're kind of like aviators. They're in the same category. And I was in the ocean and a wave took them and I lost them. I had them for
You've
like
got a bad
4
track
days.
record with the ocean, man.
Learned nothing in the first wave incident.
Yeah, man. Gosh. Anyways.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go cry now. Anyways, I got back from Florida and I am driving into work on Monday morning and I got a text saying, hey, just a heads up, like leadership might want to talk to you about going to Florida. And I'm like, oh, so people actually do care that I was in Florida, but no one tried to reach out to me at all.
Yeah, while you were there or anything. Wow.
So immediately I was just like, I started to get furious. I started to get angry because this means that somebody knew that I was in Florida, chose not to talk to me about it or anything, and just went straight to leadership and complained. So I immediately just, like, that was my first thought. My first reaction was just, I was upset. Cue Drake, upset. And I went into work.
I'm upset.
I went into work and, you know, the morning goes by. No one calls me or anything. And then go to lunch. And then while I'm on lunch, I get a call from the first sergeant saying, hey, come to my office. We need to talk. So I said, yeah, I can be there in 20 minutes. So I show up. And I don't want to talk about specifics. I don't want to talk about names. But I sat down in there and he started reading me my rights, which is
Yikes.
Normally what you do when you are accused of an article, whatever. In this case, it was disobeying an order. So I just start freaking out. Like I could just like feel my heart drop and my skin get cold. I'm like, what is happening? Like this, because this is the first time anyone's talked to me about it. And yeah, then I contact the ADC, which is like a defense counsel on base, and go through this whole process. And it's a long process of me getting in trouble. I mean, I think it lasted about a month and a half.
That started in April, right?
I think, yeah, in total, I think it was 2 months.
Yeah,
that it
we're
took.
in July now, and you almost, well, you did just find out.
This was rough. And I got an Article 15, so that sucks. The biggest mistake of my career so far, but I made it through it, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. So I guess we could talk about how I made it through it, because I don't really want to talk about details.
Well, not really even how you made it through it. Almost like, look at the end result.
Yeah.
Like, you're still positive. You're still doing your job. Like, it didn't affect you, and that's important. So you went through that whole struggle for what, like 2-3 months now, and you just keep on doing the best that you can do, and that's important.
You were able to like go months. Like this process took forever, and you're able to like go months just living your normal life, going to work and everything like that, having this hang over your head. You don't know what the end results could be. It could be an Article 15. It could be you getting discharged. You have no idea what's going to be happening, but you just kept going day by day, and you didn't care at the end results. You just had to live your life.
Yeah. And I mean, there are a couple of things, like thinking back on it now, there are a couple of things that I did that I made sure I did that helped me go through it and like stay positive, stay working and whatnot. And that's just like, one, to be hopeful. Like I had hope that it was going to end and that I was going to grow into a better person. I was going to have some lessons learned from it.
Hey, he did it.
Do the thing.
And that it was going to be better afterwards. Someone once told me that everything comes to an end. And yeah, I mean, that can sound kind of depressing. But at the same time, if you're in a rut, if you're in a bad situation, that's something good to hear. Like all good times come to an end and all bad times come to an end. It's that hedonic treadmill that Randy mentioned before. Life has ups and downs. So it's kind of relieving. It's a relief to hear when you're in a hard time right now.
Then let's talk about the end result too. Like this is what happened to Jared Rumsey. Are we allowed to talk about it? Because it's all said and done, the investigation's over and everything. Like your actual punishment.
Yeah. So basically what happened, like the end result is a withholding of rank for 6 months, which basically means I have a 6-month period where if I get in trouble, then the commander can take a stripe away. He can take away rank. And if I don't get in trouble, then I'm good. I don't lose pay. I don't get rank taken away.
Yeah.
But it's still a mark on my record.
Yeah, you said it gets downgraded to like an LOR or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mark. It's just a mark. It's just paperwork at that point. Yeah.
So that's important too. Is like you're stressing about it this whole time. Like, am I gonna get discharged? Like, am I gonna get kicked out? Am I gonna lose rank? All these thoughts go through your head. But what you do is I mean, I'm sure they were going through your head no matter what. But you're just living your daily life, being resilient, accepting whatever outcome happens.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can change about that because what's done is done.
Yeah.
And that's really important. That's what it's all about. And at the end of the day, honestly, if you don't fuck up within these next 6 months, that's pretty good, man. Like, I wouldn't complain about that because the punishment fits the crime at that point.
Yeah.
So
there's another thing that I was doing to help get me through this, and that's to have something to do, which
I think you've had plenty to do for the past 3 months. You've
Yeah.
been really busy.
I have been pretty busy. The guys can attest to this. It's why I think there's 2 recordings I haven't been on. Yeah, but to be busy with stuff, and I had just come into the squadron, 2 months prior. So I'm like, oh gosh, now I look like this. But my goal for this squadron is to just do as much as I can. And that's what I was doing, even before I went on leave, before I got in trouble and everything. So I told myself, you know what, just continue to keep doing this because maybe it'll help me, but it's also what I want to do, and it's what will help get me through this.
Right.
And actually, it's funny because getting in trouble has probably brought me closer to my commander and closer to my leadership in my squadron. And kind of helped build a stronger relationship.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been busy, like running training day, and now we got the whoop. We got the whoop program going on base. Whoop.
Yeah, man.
Whoop.
Whoop.
So that's
whoop.
pretty cool.
Whoop, not whoop. I'm not gonna whoop your ass. We're gonna whoop it. Yeah.
I think another important point too, Jared, and you kind of started to bring this up a little bit, was you said you did certain things like during that time that you like should do, I guess, I guess, I don't know, maybe like what helps make you look good. And I won't ask you to go into that, but like the point that I wanted to make was it's important that when these things happen that you take a step back from it and you don't let it just overwhelm you. Like you say, okay, I messed up. I need to do this, this, and this to try and fix that screw up. Like it's really easy to just give up, or it's really easy to panic. I think another part of resiliency is that being able to step back and like not freak out and be like, okay, this is what I have to do now. I'm going to do these things and try my best to make the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah, and
it's the ability to like bounce back from it. Not only are you just dealing with that bad thing that happened to you, but you're able to come back from it and do something positive.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, that's great that you said that, because I mean, personally, I feel like we kind of live in a weak society right now where not everyone, but a lot of people, if they get in trouble at work, or they don't like someone they work with, or they don't like a certain aspect of their job, then they just quit. And they're like, okay, well, I'll find a better company that treats me better. But I mean, you have to show respect as well. You have to show respect to your superiors. You need to put in the work. Like I feel like we just live in a weak society now.
Yeah, because had you gotten in trouble, stuff's gonna happen. You still can't change it, but instead of doing your best, still continuing to do that, and you just gave up, I'm sure that punishment would have been a lot different.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when I was going through this, all this stuff was going through my head, and I was not excited to go to work. I often actually showed up like 15 minutes later than I should have, just because I was I would sit in my car for 15 minutes. I would show up on time, but sit in my car for 15 minutes because I didn't want to go in. And then I started to, take responsibility of certain programs in the squadron and everything, and that helped me. And now that I'm through it, I talk to my leadership and they say like, hey, the stuff you're doing right now is like good stuff. And it's stuff that people aren't doing. People with good records aren't even doing. So hopefully this just helps build a stronger relationship in my squadron, like with my leadership, and just helps build me up.
Right.
So I think it has helped.
Yeah, that's the point I was even trying to make, where it's like, you are the best one who can help yourself. So like, if there's certain things you can do to make yourself look good, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, he's going to have to get some kind of punishment here. But in the meantime, he really has been doing all of these good things. Maybe we ease up a little bit.
Be resilient. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You've accepted whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but I'm going to try my best to be the best person I can be.
And don't let it define you either.
Exactly. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
So my story, as we know, I've had struggles at work. Same thing, maybe don't get along with the people that I wish I would get along with. Just have different views on stuff. But, and we've also talked about how, previous episodes, who cares what people think of you, right? Like, prove them wrong. And that's exactly what happened to me. Like, it finally came through. Now, the light at the end of the tunnel for me is here. Like, I just got promoted. I found out I got promoted. Yeah. Hell yeah. So, now I'm going to be in the position that the people I don't necessarily get along with are in. And that's my opportunity to change it for the better. So I can see what they've done that I don't agree with and do the opposite. So it's great. Honestly, like I've been struggling for a few months now and like just not happy at work. But now I have I don't want to say power, but I have the authority, I guess. I'm going to, at least whenever I sew on.
Yeah,
which
you
if
have
you don't know,
power.
someone to back you up at least, and it's your rank now. So
yeah, exactly. And I want to talk about a few things with this because, as soon as I made it, like I haven't even sewn on yet. As soon as I made it, started getting treated differently. Like the very next day, people would like congratulate. Oh, hey, congrats! And then like, no one gives me bullshit anymore.
no.
And it's like,
Wow.
I'm the same person I was yesterday. Nothing has changed. Like, the way you view people is insane. So, but they know I'm going to have that. And like, obviously I'm going to step it up to the next level to fit that role that I'm going to be in. But nothing's changed. Like, I still have the same mindset. I still have the same work ethic, you know? So it's kind of funny how that works.
I think it's,
but it just,
I don't mean
go
to
ahead.
cut you off, but I think the
No.
reason why like they treated you differently before is because they have a different, like, they had a point of view about you. But then
Yeah.
like you getting this rank, it's like, oh, I guess the people that it actually matters to, and like the Air Force as a whole, sees him as this. I guess I'm wrong. Like,
Exactly. And that's the point I was trying to make. Yeah, it's like, it proved them wrong.
Yep.
It's as if, you know, when you get an award, people are like, oh shit, okay. You know, a lot of people are like, well, you don't deserve that, whatever. And I'm sure they think the same thing with this promotion. Like, oh, how the hell did Lettieri get it? Like, what a loser. He doesn't deserve it. Guess what? You're the people that motivate me. I've made it. And I've made it first try every try now. I'm not trying to brag. It's just, but like, you feel good about it. It really does feel good when you prove people wrong. Like, I don't care what you think. I'm doing the best I can. And guess what? People notice that. So the fact that 1 or 2 people think like I don't deserve it, like, I don't give a shit. I'll just keep going.
Yep.
So that's important. That's staying resilient, man. Is like, I could have very easily just got complacent with work and been like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Like, I'm done with this shit. And Rumsey even gave me a shout out on Instagram. It was like, I know you studied really hard for that. Yeah, I did. I studied really hard for it because I wanted it. I'm not going to be the guy that just sits at work and, like, even though I wasn't enjoying it, I'm still going to try my hardest. And we've preached that over and over in almost every episode, is like, do your best, be the best person you can be, because that's what it's all about. And people notice that, and you attract positivity with that. So that's my resiliency story.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, man.
it's awesome. Yeah. And
How about
it's
you,
kind
Randy?
it's kind of cheesy, but like the Air Force, I mean, excellence in all you do. But I mean, really, it doesn't have to be like Air Force-y, because that's just like how you should treat life, like you said. I mean, people at work, things at work, you don't like them, but you're going to do the best that you can. Like, why not? Like, it's just, it's a little bit of extra effort and energy. You're already having to spend the time doing it. Just put a little bit more effort into things. And you got rewarded for it.
Yeah, and I feel like it's good karma too. Like, I believe in karma if you want or not, but I feel like everyone gets rewarded for the good stuff that they do, and same thing with the bad. Like, if people are lazy, maybe they slide under the radar for a little bit. You know, it's like, they'll get what's coming to them, and so will you.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to stay resilient, and, you know, just like, know that things are gonna work out no matter what it is. So
Yeah,
keep
life
that in
is
mind.
karma. Life is like a rubber band. You know, if you keep sliding by and like doing a whole bunch of bad stuff, eventually it's just gonna snap. It's gonna snap back and it's gonna hit you.
The universe will balance itself.
Yeah.
The
I believe
hedonic
in
universe treadmill.
Thingy.
It will snap you. Yeah.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I think.
and I think a lot of people also think it's not a good mindset to have, but I gotta say, in the times it's happened to me, getting to be able to be the one to say "I told you so" feels great.
Well, yeah, it does feel good, but at the same time, don't let that be your motivation. Like, I
Yeah,
can't wait
that's
to
not
tell him I
everything.
told him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
I think
it's not everything, but it helped motivate you, didn't it?
It wasn't like I told you so moment. It just felt good that.
It was a prove you wrong moment, though.
Yeah.
in
Kinda.
a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to recognize the fact that, you know, you are going to get out of the military. You plan on getting out. And what a lot of people do is they just give up and they skate by. But you decided not to do that. You're like, okay, I'm going to study every day. And I'm going to try to do the best I can with the time that I have left.
Yeah.
And that's something to be recognized.
And here's something else. Like, I've made it. You know, if I do get out, that I plan on getting out at year 9, this will be the last rank that I get. So I'm being promoted to tech sergeant. So this would be, I'm not going to get promoted again if I get out. I could give up right now if I wanted to and be totally fine. Nothing's going to change. There's nowhere for me to go if I get out. Like, this is it. I've hit it. However, I'm not that type of person. So, like, I'm still taking on big projects. Like, you're kind of expected to, but I'm already doing it before I'm even promoted. So the next, like this month, I'm super busy with work, like doing big things, and maybe I'll be able to share it on the channel one day. But I'm, filming, editing, like I'm wrapping the work that I want to do when I get out into work right now to build both. So I'm gonna be filming, editing, I guess you can say acting, but doing my job on film and like editing that for people to use and learn from, and it's going across the wing when it's all done, which is massive. That's like a huge undertaking. So it's gonna be dope. So it's motivating me to do a good job because that adds to my portfolio. And now when I get out, if I want to do film or something, be like, hey, I did this for so many bases. It helped this many people. Like, I have experience doing this stuff. Granted, it's not like a shit ton, but it's gonna help regardless. And it helps while I'm in. Like, it helps the people that I'm working with currently, and it's gonna help for years down the road. So I don't have to do this, but I said, yeah, I know how to do this. I have the skills to do this. I'd love to do it. And it's great.
Just send it.
Yeah.
So much easier to be motivated too when you want to do something.
Yeah, exactly. And, like you could be burnt out. Like I don't, tying work into like my hobby. Like I don't really want to do that. But guess what? It's only going to help. Like there's no way around it. Like it'll help. Both jobs, really. Yeah. So Randy, I know in the gym there's a lot of resiliency stories, and like you mentioned the one right off the bat. But do you have a personal one?
Yeah, I do. I was quite a bit younger. Actually, the injury of which I'm going to speak about is now 14 years old. So literally
are you serious?
Half a lifetime ago for me, yeah.
Dude, I felt like that was just yesterday.
I know.
Holy shit. I've known you too long. I shouldn't be your friend anymore.
Yeah. See ya. So when I was 14, I was playing in a baseball game, and I tore my ACL and medial meniscus. And at the time for me, this was huge because baseball is my life. And now I was going to go through the rest of summer, all through the fall. Normally times I'd be playing games almost every single day. And I wasn't going to be able to play at all. And when you think about it, at that time in my life, that was all I knew. Like I played baseball every day. And now something that I do every day got taken away from me. So at first I was like super depressed because, number one, obviously couldn't do the thing I loved. Number two, there was no guarantee I was going to come back and still be able to be the player that I was before. I still play, obviously not at as much of a competitive level, but I was a catcher. So obviously knees are a huge part of that because you got to be squatting and crouching for a lot of that time. And it was kind of like, it was scary because I didn't know if I was going to be able to go back to doing that when I came back. So, like my very first question to my doctor when I got in was, when am I going to be able to go back to playing? And that's my first point as far as resiliency goes, is there was no part of me. I mean, there was parts of me that were worried, but there was no part of me that thought, I'll never be able to play again. And that's where I was like, I want to get back to this as soon as possible. Like my drive, my goal was to be back on the baseball field as soon as possible. Every time I went to the doctor, my question, I had the same question every time, whether it was a week later or a month later, when can I go back on the baseball field? That was my motivation through the whole thing. Like I work in PT. I see it in PT every day. You get a home exercise program. I would say 90% of the people don't do it. The 10% of the people who do are the people who want to get back to something. Like they want desperately more than anything to get back to something, whatever that is. So whether it's a sport, hiking, whatever, it doesn't matter. If they want to get back to something, they will do their stuff at home. I was doing my stuff at home every single day of the week, twice a day, if I wasn't at PT that day. I made every single PT appointment. I never missed one. And I busted my ass the whole time I was in PT. And I got myself back on the baseball field within 6 months of my surgery.
Damn, son.
Six and a half, actually, which is kind of unheard of. But I was cleared to play by my surgeon and by the other doctors and the PTs. And I went on. I caught all 4 years of high school. I went on and caught 3 years of college baseball. and I still play now, and I still catch now. And I think if I didn't have the resiliency that I have, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to go back to, I may not have played ever again if I didn't have the resiliency that I have. But it was such a big part of my life that I wasn't willing to just let it go because of one injury.
Yeah, hard work pays off.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
I
could
think
you could have
when-
easily been a couch potato and just given up.
Exactly. I think when you see something, when you have a goal and you're working towards something, it's that much easier to be resilient. Like if I just had this injury, like if I was, hanging out with my friends and like playing basketball or something and hurt myself, but I didn't have anything to go back to, I may not have recovered as well as I did.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a piece of the puzzle, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
have to have something to do, you have to be hopeful, and you have to have something to work towards. And that's what you were
Absolutely.
doing.
And that was what it was all about. It was my goal, my sole focus at that time became, I need to get myself back on the playing field in the shortest amount of time I possibly can. And I did every single thing I had to do in order to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Stay positive. Give it your all. That's. I guess resiliency is like giving it your all when a lot of people could easily give up.
Right.
Yeah, I think, working towards that goal of getting back on the field, that's like real tenacity.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
exactly.
awesome.
And it would have been
injury-
easy to give up.
Yeah, the injury is a perfect excuse to give up.
Exactly.
But you didn't take that excuse.
No, I wouldn't have it. Not my
Not
cup of
having
tea.
it.
Not having
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, and I tell that story. I tell that story, I think certainly every ACL injury that comes into my job. Actually, we just had a girl come in the other day. She's huge athlete. She's young. She's about the same age I was when I got hurt. But huge athlete. She plays hockey. She plays softball, I think field hockey. She plays like 5 or 6 different sports. She
Damn.
skis. And she tore her ACL, and like you could tell the first few visits she was just totally like defeated. So, and somebody said that to me because I hadn't really worked with her or talked to her much. So somebody had said that to me. So I made a point next time she came in, I went and told her that story, and I said I played Division I college baseball as a catcher, coming back from the same exact injury that you had. I was like, so you will come back. You can do it.
Yeah, that's hope.
And like since then, her mindset has been totally different. Like she's more positive. She's working at it. She hasn't had her surgery yet. She's doing pre-op right now, but she's gonna get there, and she'll be another one. She'll be out, 6-7 months because she's just gonna put everything she has into it.
That's good. That's rewarding in your job to see that, like physically. That's nice. A lot of it's mental, but can your body handle it in situations like that? And mentally, you have to make that connection and like try the hardest you can.
Right. It's funny because I see both ends of the spectrum every day. Because you have the people who have an injury and do like I did, and they put everything into it and try and get better. And then you have the people who just like from day one totally give up.
Yeah, they just accept it. They don't do the at-home workouts. Like, oh, I'm injured, and then they use that as an excuse in life when you don't have to.
Exactly.
Man.
So, Talon, how about you? You're
Yes.
Mr. Resilient over here.
Ooh. So just like Chris and Jared, mine's kind of recent. But I mean, pretty much back in like everyone knows everything that's happened last year when it comes to COVID and everything. And for like the longest time, for like literally the half a year, honestly, it was kind of like unreal to me because I didn't know anyone that got it or anything. And then guess what? I was getting upgraded to become an instructor, and on one of my first flights, I hop on that flight afterwards. I come down with the COVID, with the Roni, the
Just
one and
like
only.
Jared.
Yeah, and it was kind of dumb because the entire time, like, I mean, Chris can probably attest to this. I followed pretty well. Like, I didn't go out. I didn't do anything that I wasn't supposed to do or anything. And then, of course, I was technically like forced to fly for the upgrade and everything. And then, I get sick, get through it all and everything like that. But then, I'm probably one of the unlucky few that's had like kind of more long lasting effects from it. So, I mean, a couple months goes by after I had the Roni, and I'm still coughing. I'm having breathing issues. I have shortness of breath. Little things like that, and like my whole life, like physically and mentally, just like it's a roller coaster, just up and down. Every day, I feel completely different and everything, and I can't do exactly like I'd be carrying laundry up and down the stairs. I'm just like, man, like my chest is like hurting right now. It's just like, fuck, what's going on? And like finally, like after me like complaining so many times to like our flight docs and everything, and basically it's like, oh, it'll go away, it's probably just like left over, and like then me doing research on the internet, and like it's like, yeah, that's not true. Yeah, it's just like it's like that's not right. Like it doesn't just it shouldn't be an issue like months down the road and everything. Finally, I get to go see like a pulmonologist and everything. They're like, oh yeah, you might have like long lasting asthma and stuff like that now. And during this entire time, I mean, Chris, Jared, and I, our primary job in the Air Force is to be like flyers. Like our job is to fly, and like that crew position that we are at. Yeah, like when we don't fly, we're in the office and everything. It's kind of an additional duty. But during this entire thing, and even now, I'm not able to do my primary job. I'm not able to fly, and it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of like not like an identity crisis. It's like, what am I if I'm not like my position? All I am, I'm just like, I'm literally chair force. I'm sitting in a chair in an office. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing what I was trained to do. I'm not doing what I've literally spent a month of my life on this aircraft to like learn and get experience. Like, not even joking. I've spent a month of my living life on this plane, and like I still have 3 more years in the Air Force, and I'm not able to keep doing this thing that I've had like grown this much experience in, because of like all of this that's going down right now. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it a couple episodes ago for like professional failures, but like, yeah, I'm planning to get out of the Air Force and everything like that. I'm not able to do the job that I spent so much time training and learning to do and everything. But I've now gotten to the point where it's just like, I found myself kind of in a rut. I'm just like, I go to work. I'm just like, I for a while, I was just like, I could be doing better things with my time. Like, I don't need to be here. This is worthless of my time. But I mean, Chris talked about it, putting your all in anything that you're doing. Like, there's no reason not to. You're already going there. Like, for me, it's like, I'm going to the office. Yeah, it's not what I want to be doing. Yeah, I want to be doing other stuff. Maybe I think that I can do better things with my time. But it's like, I'm there anyways, and I just need to put that effort into it. Especially for me, because I also have airmen underneath me too, because I'm a supervisor, and like, I can't imagine like looking bad to these guys, because like they look up at like anyone else, you look up to your supervisor. Imagine if they're just like lazy and they don't give a crap about anything. Guess what? You're probably going to grow into the same thing, or you're just, people feed off of people's energy. So it's just like, I can't act this way. I can't act this way for myself, and I can't act this way for other people. So yeah, I'm in a situation that I didn't want to put myself in, and it's just like, I kind of just have to be resilient and just keep doing what I want to be doing, and put the effort in for every little tiny thing that I'm doing. So yeah, now I'm trying to bring it, like, pick up more projects at work. I'm trying to like show up more and like mentor my airmen and everything, teach them about like everything that we talk about on this podcast. It's like, that's honestly a big driving force for me, because like helping someone. So yeah, I lost that original like identity of me being an airborne system engineer on this plane, because I can't be on that plane right now. But I'm still a supervisor to these people, and just like this podcast, I'm able to go in every single day. I'm able to mentor these people, and it's just like, it could be topics that we even talk about on the podcast. I've taught people about like credit score, and like, hey, it's just like, you're struggling with your finances. Like, hey man, like, I'll sit down with you, and just like, if you want me, like I've told someone before, so it's like, if you want, I'll help you like go get a credit card. It's like, if you don't know what to do or anything like that, like little things like that. It's just, at this point, yeah, it kind of drives me, just being able to do that, and it just drives me to keep doing other things. Like this weekend, I have like 3 papers to do. I'm studying for my Network Plus right now. It's just like, man, I got other stuff to do too. It's just like, put your effort and your energy into what you're doing.
Man, Roni macaroni.
Leftover Roni.
I'll tell you what. Man,
yeah, that's
he's
good
talking
though,
about
right?
us, by the way. He's helped us with our finances. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
he has, but
everybody he talks to.
Yeah, you can help a lot of good people, or you can help a lot of people. Yeah, so I'm glad that you've decided to do what you can with what you have and where you can, at work, even if you aren't flying. That's good.
But I think that's what it's all about, though. It's like, again, it's similar to my story, where you could have really just given up. You could have, exactly like you said, you could just kind of go to work every day and just, do whatever because you had this thing happen to you and that really sucks. But you've kind of taken a different perspective on it and you realize, maybe I can't do some of the things that I want to do, but I can still help people out. And that's really what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, just like you, I could have taken the excuse. It's like, yeah, I can't do my job, and just like sat down and just not bother with anything. But yeah, instead I find something else. Like, not exactly another calling, but it's just like something else to keep pushing me forward. So
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 3 years. So what are you going to do? How are you going to make these 3 years count?
Yeah. And that's what I had to sit down and like really, I think that's one of the biggest driving factors for me is like, I have 3 more years. How do I want to make it? Like, how do I want my last 3 years in the Air Force to be? Do I want to like look back and be like, oh yeah, I was a lazy idiot and I didn't do anything? No, I'm going to take, it's 3 years of my life. I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to do everything that I can possibly can.
And like Randy said, we've seen people that have done that.
Yeah.
You go into work back in the day, and no names, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. You walk into the old office, the old building. There's a guy, he's getting out. Guess what? He got in trouble. It's both your stories. He got in trouble. I think he was the NIF, and he just gave up. He's like, hey, I'm here. I got time to do. I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah.
And he was a piece of shit,
Yeah.
But you can't be that guy. Nobody should be that guy.
No, and that makes everybody around you resent you as well.
Oh, exactly, and it did, yeah, because we were a very impressionable new airman, and we saw this guy, and we're like, what does he even do? And everyone's like, yeah, just don't even worry about it. It's like,
what does he even do?
What do you mean don't worry about it? He just sits there. Like, what? So don't be that guy.
Yeah.
No.
But guess what? While I was down looking at my phone, I was like, there's got to be a book on resilience, and guess what? There is. It's called Emotional Intelligence: Resilience by Harvard Business Review. It's probably like a journal or something. Boom. I don't know if you can see it. Nope. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Guess what? Guess where you can find it?
I saw the little symbol. It was at the
Ooh.
top. The symbol was at the
Ooh.
top, but you know what you can do if you look down? I'm pointing down in the description. You can find that book on Audible, and you can find that book on Audible free for 30 days using the link down below in the description. Listen to your favorite books instead of having to read them. And then you can do other things, or if you just can't read, like Joe, who's not here to defend himself. Yeah, Audible. Do it. Send it.
Full send.
Do it.
Resilience. Maybe it's an inspirational speech you need to hear. Maybe it's a book you need to read. You got to be resilient. You're injured. You're dealing with people you don't want to deal with. Maybe you're deployed in a location that you don't want to be in. Guess what? You're there. Make it count, right? Don't give up. You can never give up in life because only bad things will come. Good karma does happen. When you're resilient, good things happen. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, whether it's a new move, any topic we've talked about in this podcast so far, getting away from home, get a new credit card, you're building credit, maybe just taking new steps in your life. It's going to be a struggle, but guess what? There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, so give it your all.
Exactly. Like, you don't need a specific moment in life to like make you be resilient and fight through. Sometimes life can just like put you down, and like you can struggle through just like everyday situations, and it's just like the sun sets, the sun rises. Like some days, sometimes you just need to keep pushing on, and that's all that resiliency really is.
Yep.
I have a question for you guys before we kind of start wrapping up here. Do you think that resiliency is a quality that just like people, you either have it or you don't, or do you think it's a quality that can be trained?
I think everyone has it naturally. I think us as humans, we are resilient beings to begin with, but like many things when it comes to humans, our minds can really affect us. Once you start thinking about little tiny things, and it's just like you think about giving up, that's when you start failing. But like you as a human being and as like just an animal on earth, we are resilient beings. Just don't let your mind take control of you.
Well, think about last week's episode. We talked about technology and the effect that our technology has on our day-to-day lives. I think a lot of the loss in resiliency is because some of our technologies make things so easy in our lives that we've never had to struggle. And then when you do go into a struggle, your automatic response is just submit, because you don't know how to handle a failure or a defeat or an injury or getting in trouble at work or whatever the situation might be, because things have always gone right or have been made so simple for you that you've never had to like fight back.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people try to do it on their own, which some people can, but I think, the mental health awareness is talk to somebody. Somebody's been through this, guaranteed. Look for therapy. Look for a good friend that can help, at least, if not guide you to therapy, like help you themselves and talk you through it. I think it's becoming normalized, and that's a great thing to see.
Yeah.
That's one of the so as I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking of like the different parts and the recurring topics throughout our stories and everything. And I think that's one of the pieces that we didn't hit. But yeah, I mean, like having a support system, whether it be your girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, your mom, your grandma, your friends, a therapist. Yeah, having a support system.
Podcast buddies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we had Tony on a couple episodes. He said if you're in a rough place, message him. I mean, that's the same thing with us. If you really need someone, it's just like we're here. This is like what we're doing. Our goal is to help people and to open the conversation on stuff like this. So, I mean,
yeah, reach out. We're here. We're doing it for each other, so we can do it for you. We're not professionals by any means, but we can help. Yeah. We can motivate you.
Yeah, so I think like the yeah, we can be that for you. I think the recurring things for all of our stories have been to stay busy, to have a support system, to have hope, and what's the fourth one?
Have an end goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to work towards. Yeah.
And it's worked off for us too. And like good things will happen. Like I said, good things are gonna happen. You'll see results. It might not come as soon as you want, but you'll see results. That's why I'm not worried. Bringing it into relationships, like I'm not worried about it. It'll happen when it happens. I'm just gonna be who I'm gonna be. Randy, it might be too late for you, buddy, but I don't.
I was gonna agree with you.
No, I'm just kidding. For real though, like I've accepted that too. I mean, we could do a whole nother relationship episode, but at the same time, be resilient. Like the right one hasn't come along yet. I'm 27. Who cares? We've talked about the age. How like you hit 30 and it's kind of like why aren't I not there yet? Why aren't I married? Like all my friends are married, have family. Who cares? You're gonna do you. The right thing will happen. You just gotta accept that, because if you think about it, bringing Talon's point into it, if you think about it and dwell on these things, nothing good's gonna happen. You're gonna submit, and you can't do that. So being resilient, knowing there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that's what it's all about. And we must have said the word resilient like a million times in this episode, so I'm sorry, it just kind of happens organically. So
if you count it, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Put a counter.
If you count it, we'll give you a t-shirt. I think we got like 3 left. But
only larges, so sorry about that.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening. Jared, take it away.
All right, this has been Lessons Learned. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you aren't, please go to our YouTube. It's probably in the link wherever you're watching this. You can click on it and then subscribe. You can click the bell notification. You'll get a notification every Monday when we drop new episodes, and sometimes on Wednesdays when we drop just the clip. Feel free to leave a review. We'd appreciate it. 5 stars only. And we have links down below to the rest of our social medias. Check it out and let us know what you think. All right, thank you for watching. And until next time, see ya.